All right, guys, we're back. Earlier than I expected. This is the 2023 team picker. Released today. Released at about 10 o'clock, maybe a little bit, earlier, around about 10. So it's been out for about 3 hours now. I've probably been only using it for about like one or two. But yeah, let's get into the first team look, and you get to see some prices of players and everything like that. Obviously, this is for people that have Supercoach. It's either called Supercoach Gold or it's called Supercoach Plus. It's whatever that is. You had to have had it last year to get it this year. You can't just buy it now and get access to this. If you buy it now, you'll get the team picker for next year. If you didn't pay for Supercoach Plus, which is completely fine, you definitely don't need to. It'll probably be coming out mid-January, late January, something like that. So, it's not like you're waiting that long. It's a month, Footy season's still not for another while still. But yeah, let's get into the team. Actually pretty stoked for this, honestly. People that know me know that I'm always around AFL, even when I'm working on other stuff. So, it's always on my mind. Sure. We'll go forwards. I won't bother with rookies, right? Like, I was looking at this before and I already put a team together before. The rookies, obviously, no one knows about, right? So I'll do the team and then I'll just show rookies I've picked. But, like, it's like 3 months until preseason and round one and everything like that. It's more than that, but you get the picture, right? You can't tell. So starting with defenders, what is it set to that on average? Starting with defenders, I think any of the top five are great. Just pick one of the top five, or two of the top five, or three of the top five. You are fine. I don't think there's. I think the best one here is probably Stewart. Honestly, like that's my opinion. I thought his score would be above 110 in this 113, 114 range if he didn't have the suspension and all that other stuff go on. I think Stewart's the best one here. But for the first pick, Sinclair. He was just very good last year. Great, athlete in the back line as well. Took a lot of marks, took a lot of, very good kick of the ball. Decision making was good, considering it's St Kilda, I'm not the biggest St Kilda fan, but, the back line could use a bit of work, and Sinclair is kind of like the start of where you want to go. So, next, we've got Tom Stewart. So, basically everything I said about Sinclair, I could say about Stewart. Good kick of the ball, good attitude towards not making forceful kicks, so he doesn't turn over the ball too much. Good athlete, good for intercepts and stuff like that. Last year I think was his best year for intercepts. I'm pretty sure on that. A guy that can very easily put up 140 on kick-ins and everything like that. Interested to see how Jack Bowes comes in and if that's going to affect Stewart. I doubt it because Stewart's that good. But, it could. It's not impossible for it to do that. But yeah, it's just a wait and see type of thing. Again, I feel like I'm going to say this for the next half hour that I'm making this team. This is December 16th. No one knows any roles, any positions people are playing, any game plans, anything like that, right? So take everything with a grain of salt. So, and then third, Jordan Dawson, kind of the guy I missed out on last year. He's just really good. He'd always, even in the stretch where he was playing 50-50 wing and back, he'd always manage to get the ton, which you obviously for 600k you're expecting a bit more than just 100, but that does the job, and it's good to see that even out of position, out of their best role, they can still score. And then after that, we've got kind of the cheaper players. So the first one, which I think is going to be in every team, is Connor McKenna. For 167, that's a rookie price. not too much can go wrong here. Like, say he comes back and he's just not in AFL shape. Like, obviously he's a good athlete, so he'll be in shape. But like, attacking the ball and stuff like that, being like AFL mindset ready, that could take a little bit of time. But again, 167k, it's probably going to be better than the rookie you find at that price. Yeah, so then like after McKenna, you kind of just, you're on rookies, right? So, you know what? I'm not going to bother. Like, I'll do the rookies at the end, all right? Like, I'm not looking through and just picking 5 random players. Yeah, it really is just pick 5 random. But I'm actually pretty fine with that top 4 in defense. McKenna, I reckon, goes up to about 400k, so maybe a bit more. Quite honestly, I've never really looked at him in a Supercoach way, so I don't know what like his peak is. But yeah, we'll see. And Brisbane's defense is actually pretty good for Supercoach. People don't usually look at it because Rich is injury prone and old. Then you had Zorko last year, injury prone and old. But they're good. They should perform better than other teams. So midfielders I'll do last because like that's all the huge names or whatever. So Rucks is like, this is by far the cheapest they've been in like 3 or 4 years, right? So Gorn not being a 700k player is what, like high 600s, borderline 700k, or like being one of the highest price players in the game. It's been a long time since he hasn't been in that bracket. Saying that though, I'm not actually going to pick Gorn this year, or at least again December. I'm going to go with Marshall and Darcy Cameron. Now let me explain. Roll Marshall with no what's his name? I want to say Scott Lysett because I just saw the name, but Paddy, what? I can't remember his last name. God damn it. Give me a second. I have to find his last name now. Paddy Ryder. There we are. Yeah, so I knew it was Paddy something. I just couldn't think of what it was. But yeah, so he's gone, should, by all accounts, every possible scenario you can think up in your head. Me and Marshall is a kind of solo ruck who gets free reign over what he wants to do. Marshall is best as a ruck. He's good when he can drift up forward, but you don't want him to stay up forward because some rucks aren't, the most impactful on the game when they stay forward. Same thing kind of goes for Cameron as well. Basically the same scenario, except instead of retiring, Grundy just moved teams. So Cameron last year when Grundy was out, I think Grundy was out for like 6 weeks, something, maybe a bit longer. No, he was out for a long time. What am I saying? 6 weeks? Something like 10. Cameron was insane. If you had him in like fantasy, I think fantasy was a bit better than Supercoach, but like he was on a roll. I missed out on him, but good job to those that were onto him. Same type of deal, like no other ruck there to take his ruck time. He can play solo ruck, he can drift up forward. Who is Collingwood's next ruck? Let's see what we got. Mason Cox, who doesn't play every game because of inconsistencies. Let's just say inconsistencies. And then Aiden Begg, who is he a rookie? I don't know who he is. It says he played 3 games last year. 3 games I didn't watch. But yeah, so Cameron Marshall is all right, at least for now. We'll see, because he could also put Cameron in the forwards. Forwards did kind of get decimated this year. They still kept like big 3 or so. But with Baslenka going back to mid only, Bond going back to mid only, there's others. There's got to be others. Well, we'll get into it, right? So number 1, Dunkley, must pick. Don't even think about it. Just pick him. Just pick him. Stop being, I'm not going to pick Dunkley. I'm going to wait for his price to fall. his price is going to fall to like 570k and then shoot back up to 630, right? So just pick him at the start. You already have to pick 600k plus players at other positions. Treat this as the same. He can put up the same score as a premium midfielder when he's playing in the midfield. Look at 2019. It was 2019 or it was 2020. One of those years, or even both years, honestly, good numbers, right? Like, he's a premium level player. So to get him as a forward is a big W. Next, I've got Cogs. Cornelia had a bounce back year last year. It wasn't like insane year. Like 101 average is good. It's just forwards, it's hard to find consistent scoring, and I feel like Cogs was kind of getting back into a consistent streak last year. A couple of games where it was like 70s and stuff like that, but when he was actually playing midfield and had a chance to go up, kick a goal or two, some games he'd have like 3 goals and put up 150. It's good. For 550k, I'll take it. And then next, it's probably the first player that's changed teams this year. What am I talking about? I just picked Dunkley. He's probably the biggest change of the offseason. It's Tim Taranto. So I'm not the biggest Taranto fan. I haven't been for a long time. I find he's scoring, like in fantasy, I think he's great. I think in fantasy you want him. I just think his disposal efficiency isn't amazing for Supercoach, a game that highly values your efficiency. He very prone to turnovers. Can get iced out of games when he gets put like half forward pocket. Again, that's GWS, I understand, but that's part of the reason why I'm picking him. Richmond, if you were to pick a weakness, probably is their midfield at the moment. I think the defense still holds up pretty well. It's just a good scheme in defense where it's like create chaos and then like work on the chaos, like ground balls and stuff like that. Their forwards are obviously still good. Rewalt's good still. I'd say he's probably like slightly above the average line in AFL. He's getting up there with age. And then Tom Lynch is, he's good. He has these games that he sucks, but he's still good. And Taranto should just kind of slide into the midfield. Presti gets injured all the time, so there's going to be minutes that opens up there. Dusty's could get suspended at any point, so he can go in there. Shea Bolton wants to play forward. You can see that he wants to play up there. He's just that type of guy. He wants to kind of play kind of any position where he can jump at the ball. So along the half forward and full forward and stuff like that, you kind of just put your athletic guys there. Hope they take a cool mark, which they always does. So Taranto should have a couple opportunities. Outside him, I haven't scouted everyone here, but I like Butters, I like Rosie, I like Heaney still. Dylan Moore, I think, is kind of getting slept on a bit. I think he was kind of a slept on is probably a good term for it. Even last year, I was putting up 100 pluses towards the end of the year, so just people didn't have the money to kind of take a gamble on someone like that. Himmelberg in defense, like if he plays that halfback, whatever he was doing role from last year, he's a great player. Kerner was good last year, but not for that price. I don't see it. Luke Jackson is pretty good. The only thing is he's probably going to play the same role he did at Melbourne, where it's like you're a backup ruck and then you spend the rest of the time forward. That's why I thought he'd go to West Coast. Okay, I'm a West Coast fan, so obviously I wanted players to go there, but I just thought it made more sense to go to West Coast. But I think he's from Freo, like from the Freo side, which I am too, but you don't see me clamoring to go there. Another one that I think is kind of like not talked about, but it's kind of for a reason, is Jed Anderson. If you go back 2 years, he was a good player. At 440, it's probably a bit high, but if he drops, then he's a good option. I feel like there's someone I'm missing here that I actually do pick. Just give me a second. Let me see the team. Yeah, so it's kind of like the same situation as McKenna. Josh Bruce. Why not? Is he gonna set the world on fire, go up to 500k? No, but he's all right. So I'll take him. And I just wanted to check. Fife is a forward. Okay, so this is an interesting one. 313k. He's not the greatest forward of all time. He's a good player, historically great. Probably one of Frio's best all-time players. Not the best, but one of. I mean, you could do this, right? You probably don't want to go with 4 up here, which is what you do with 5. Maybe you drop Taranto. Maybe not like a big Taranto believer, or maybe not a Cogs believer that he can do it again, because he struggled with like back-to-back years of form. Yeah, it's an option. It's just he's super at this point in his career injury prone, so he's had a full preseason though, from what I've heard. So there is a world there where you pick him. And then the midfield. So the big time boys that kind of want to score 200 every week or tie trying. So I don't really see around not picking Laird. I think you got to do it. He's too good to pass up. So I think if you go to Laird, you have to pick Oliver, right? Like he's too good at this point in his career. He's like really hitting. Hay fever is crazy today. Hey, Oliver's like really hitting his prime, so you do want to pick him. Yeah, I've got to see how the money works out here. Oliver, and then I think you're stupid if you don't take Steele, honestly. I think after last year, Steele post-injury was great. Like, yeah, he was very good. It was still a down year for him. He is a player that should be in this top 5. Just, off year. I think getting him at under, basically at the 600k line is a huge W. So, yeah, I'll take Steele. Other than that, there was one more I picked up. Got my team here. Let me just see. Where is he? He's 552. Bailey Smith. Now, this is where I'm kind of taking a gamble. It's not like a huge one, right? Like, he was a premium player last year, so it's not like a shot in the dark or anything. This guy can go for 40 touches basically any game, right? Teams have to tag him. He can go up forward, kick a goal. His kicking it leaves a bit to be desired, but he's still young. He really likes like the snap around kicks and shit like that, which they look cool, but they don't always work, and it usually ends up out in the full. But yeah, I'll take it. Bailey Smith, huge touches guy. Hopefully doesn't get suspended again. Hopefully they spoke to him and said, mature up a little bit. We'll see. But yeah, I don't mind Bailey Smith at this price. And I think from here, we've got rookies. Now, I mean, there's one more, not rookie level player. So, Toby McLean. If you've been playing Supercoach for a while, you probably remember when McLean was kind of good. It's a long time ago now. You're looking at multiple years. I'll take it. Again, this is the same as McKenna, same as Bruce. These are rookie priced players. If it doesn't work, I can just 171. This guy, Ruben Jinby, who I'm gonna pick because by all accounts he's playing. He's a huge West Coast fan, grew up in the area, and he just wants to play for the team. Same draft story you hear from every player, I swear, these days. And then they play 5 games for the club and then want to leave for Adelaide. So, so 171 to 178, I'm fine with that. If it doesn't work out, he has had injury problems, so maybe you want to play him as a forward. I don't think the forward rookies are too great this year. But I haven't obviously done much research on rookies. But I'll be back in a second. I'll fill up the team with rookies and I'll kind of like go through the profile of every player and kind of explain why they should start round one, even if they don't. Just as I'm filling out rookies, I've just seen this now. I thought it's worth a comment. Ben King is only 176k. He didn't play all of last year and is recovering from, I think it was an ACL. He's definitely a fine pick. Like, he can score pretty well. He's not as good as his brother, Max, but I mean, Max isn't that great. I've vehemently been on the side of Max is very overrated, but Ben is good. Like, if, again, rookie player, say like we get to round one and there's just no rookie forwards playing, Ben King will play. If he's healthy, that is. But he's had 12 months off, maybe 14. He should play by all means. And then there's also Aaron Francis, who he's nothing crazy, but if he plays for Sydney, he should be able to provide like a kick out of the backfield. Even maybe he goes up forward, kicks a goal. Like, he's a pretty good utility player. But again, nothing super special, but 189k. The top rookie is 202. So like, there's not too big a difference if you just treat it like a rookie. We'll see though. I'll be back in a second once I fill this out. Alright, so put together something that kind of looks like a final team. There were a couple of changes I made. I did end up getting 5, so I ended up with just 300k extra or something like that. So I was like, all right, who can I get? I think it's because I'm starting a third 600k defender. I'm in a weird spot where like I can't bring in another 500k mid or 550k, which I was looking at Tom Mitchell. I really do like Titch this year. So if I can bring him up, I've got the filter on, don't I? Remove that. Of course, his name's not actually Titch. I keep doing that. I don't know why I do that. 528k. He probably is like Collingwood's top disposal getting mid, like in terms of like just someone who accumulates the ball a lot. There's obviously like the meme of Pendle's not being an accumulator, but he kind of is. But he's dropped the captaincy thing this year. Maybe that's like a sign of like, I'm gonna be playing less and I'm gonna be like, doing a bit less around the field. We'll see. Again, December 16, still going to change his team 25 times till tomorrow. So this is what I'll be going with for now. 108k in the bank just shows I'm going to be changing this team. But I think this is a fair like blueprint of what I'm going to be looking at. Because I was thinking like, what if you don't go Laird? I have to look at fixtures and stuff to see like who has a real tough fixture at the start. Maybe like you drop a defender. Jack Bowes is in. Jack Bowes like 270k. He's all right. Like, say you want to take a punt on someone, he's fine. Does have a little bit of an injury problem, but nothing like to scare you off him or anything like that. He's still fine. Nick Dacos is good to get. I've been thinking about it. Like, it's just, do I want to drop Dawson for Dacos? Am I going to drop Stewart for Dacos? That's a hell no. Am I going to drop Sinclair for Dacos? Again, probably not. It's kind of just a weird spot, right? Like, you're saving 100k, but for that 100k, am I going to get a lot better scoring? Possibly. But yeah, I'm going to be looking at this for the next 3 months or something like that. So hope you're all having fun with making your teams. It's probably everyone that has Plus has been on it and made a team by now. So yeah, I'll see you all next time. Probably be a podcast, honestly. We're thinking about recording one tonight. Let me know if you want to see it. They were pretty good last year. There was a bit of good content in them. It's just no one could find the time for it to fit into the week. So yeah, see you all next time. Tasty out.